And I think that one of the things that's come up is, and we had a conversation as a Black Lives Matter Global Network, we were talking about what it is we face. And this was really early on when we were developing demands before we knew about the disparity, right? Because there was also a conversation, well, can Black people even get COVID-19, right? So the early conversation was maybe this is the one time that Black people have immunity, right? It's not,
Exactly.
the analogy that when white America gets a cold, Black folks get pneumonia, right? Then that quickly showed itself to be false. And of course, like every other crisis, it's the pneumonia for Black people when it's a cold for white folks. One of the points in the conversation, the 5G conspiracy theory came up. And I, along with, I think maybe one other person, I think it was only like BLM Philly, maybe. I was like, I'm not dismissing any of that. Maybe there's truth to it. I'm not going like, oh, I said I wouldn't publicly say that, but I guess it's too late now. But there's so many conspiracies against Black people that anything is, I'm not taking anything off the table. Anything is possible. You started to talk about some of the experiments that have been done on Black people, this history of Black people being used as lab rats. Can you give us just a few examples of where you see that?
Here in Kentucky, for the most part, people say the South, and they just keep glossing over who we actually are. And each one of these states, even though in our Black liberation fight, we know that there are reasons why we must center the Southeast for a number of reasons. If it's not for, this is where they started to pass out the first biological weapon with their non-clean cells. That was getting ready to go way far. But syphilis and smallpox, utilizing these as tools so they know that they don't have the measures to take care of themselves, so pass it off onto other folks. We see it happen there. We also see it happen throughout enslavement, but particularly in Kentucky. We have been underneath some very genocidal tactics, and that's the reason why I keep honing in on that. Our senator is Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul. Those are our senators. How they get in office, we don't know. But what we do know is that we are underneath a lot of what happens nationally happens here first. So if they want to roll back environmental regulations, that happens here first. And most of Black Louisville lives in the West End. The river kind of siphons us off from Indiana, and so the west side ends at the river. On the other side of that is our Metropolitan Sewer District, as well as popular plastic making and chemical companies. DuPont sits over there, to the certain extent that like kids and even adults have always asked, what's that smell? And now that we have social media, you can just pop it out on social media and people can let you know what that smell is, down to sometimes the scientific name of that smell. We had rates of 1 to 2 per million of cancer, which really is still a high number. They rolled it back all the way to where we are at 5 to 6 per million. Whole blocks of people a woman has put together around breast cancer because all of her childhood friends have either passed away or half of them are struggling with breast cancer as today. Those are the types of things that we should associate this medical manipulation and medical apartheid with when we're talking about why would folks think that, there's all these different conspiracy theories, because real life is just as damaging. I mean, like, it's crazy out here. The processed foods, our grocery stores look different than other grocery stores. We have high rates of processed foods. Like, there's an entire wall full of meat in one of our grocery stores where they have like abundance of baskets and shucking and corn for shucking and stuff. And it's just like, do you not think that we want fresh food? Do you not think that we need these type of meals. Even our city is cut up in a way around redlining. You can associate everything. Someone said on a call yesterday, and I didn't watch it all the way, that everything that is associated with Black life is dealt in hand with some type of systemic genocide that is happening to us. Redlining. I live in a suburb that used to be the farms, and so those farms keep getting pushed further back in Kentucky and further back in Kentucky to where they erased Black farming almost. But also, where do we get the access to our foods? Once this went down and people started hoarding, for Black and impoverished communities, you were just simply having too many people go to the store at the same time, which then put other people out of medicines and food reach. So all of it goes back to playing into the economics of things as well, too. But yeah, I didn't fault too many people for believing in those things. It was just we weren't pushing a lot more of hope. We weren't pushing any solutions.